皆さん、こんにちは。Welcome to Speak Japanese Naturally. I'm Fumi. When you become friends with Japanese people, at some point, I think you feel like you want to talk to them casually. So I'd like to tell you how to make casual sentences from this mass form. But before that, I'd like to tell you to whom and when you can talk casually without this or mas. Because I think the English word friend means wider range of people than Japanese word 友達, and usually you only speak casually to your 友達, okay? The casual language without this or mas is called tameguchi in Japanese, and actually tameguchi is a slang, so you shouldn't use it in a formal situation, but we don't have any other name to call the way we talk without this or mas, so I use tameguchi here, okay? And tameguchi is also called tameguchi, and go means like the language, and tame, this is a slang too. Tame means 同級生in Japanese, and 同級生 means people who are in the same grade. In Japan, school starts in April and it ends in March. Let's assume this person was born in March and this person was born in April, a month later. So this person is always one grade above this person. Okay, so even though they are born in the same year, still the grade is different. In Japan, no one skips a grade. It's not allowed. And usually people don't fail until the end of the middle school. So when you are born decides which grade you are in. And tomodachi in Japanese means someone that is close to you and someone you can talk to equally. You can communicate with them equally. That's tomodachi. As I said, tame means the same grade, and tameguchi means like the language between the people in the same grade, which means you can use tameguchi to someone who is in the same grade or younger. So if you become friends with someone, for example, who is 10 years older than you, you use this and mas. I have some older friends and I use this and mas to them, unless they say that it's okay that I can talk to them without this or mas. So I have some older friends, but I don't call them tomodachi in Japanese. I feel like I'm a little bit disrespectful to them if I call them tomodachi. If I just say tomodachi, it sounds like they are the same age as me. And then I always talk to them with this or mas. But that doesn't mean we are not that close. It just means that there's an age difference between us, and I feel more comfortable talking to them with this or mas. Otherwise, I feel like I'm too disrespectful. So what I want to say is, if you have a Japanese friend, and if they are like the same age as you, then it's okay to talk to them in tameguchi without this or mas. Okay, now let's think about the different situation. Okay, if you work for a company, someone who enters the company before you is senpai. Even the person is only one grade above you, you always talk to them with this or mas, even if you get very close friends with them after a while. And if you're a boss, you can use like tameguchi to your subordinates. But sometimes it depends on your personality. You might sound arrogant. I prefer a boss using this or mas. But if you are very close to your subordinates, you can use tameguchi to make them feel closer to you. So sometimes I think it's very effective to use those tameguchi occasionally. It depends on the personality. Another situation is like when you want to be a boyfriend or girlfriend of the other person, you need to change how you talk at some point to get more closer to them mentally. Have you ever seen the show Love is Blind, Japan? I recommend it because it's really good material for your listening practice and knowing how people talk in reality. that show was actually interesting because the men and women, I think there were 50 men and 50 women, and they talk one-on-one, but they can't see each other. Like they are in a small room called a pod, and like for example, this is a man's pod and this is a woman's pod, and a man enters here and a woman enters here, and they talk, I think about a week. They talk to each other, and if a couple decided to be engaged, they can see each other for the first time. And then after that, they will go on a vacation for I think 3 days. Then after that, they live together for 3 weeks and see as an experiment if they really can get married. And then after that, if both of them agree, they get married. And it's so scary. I can't marry someone who I only know for like 3 or 4 weeks, but they do. And I think that's why it's interesting. Anyway, in that show, there was a couple. The man was 56 years old and the woman was 30 years old. And when they started living together, at some point, she asked him if he realized that she changed the way she talked, which means that she started to use tameguchi to him. I think he said yes. By asking him, she was saying that she was trying to build a relationship with him. I'm not sure if she was really trying because he obviously didn't believe that. But anyway, talking without desu and masu means like they are in a relationship, like they are very intimate. That being said, if you want to be a girlfriend or boyfriend of somebody, you need to change the way you talk at some point. You need to start using tameguchi to them. And if the other person welcomes that, that's a good sign. And maybe you can ask the other person that, like, maybe it's time for us to use tameguchi, something like that. Or you can just start using tameguchi to the person and see how the person reacts. Okay, now let's think about using me as an example. Okay, so I'm a middle-aged woman, and if you're a teenager or 20s or 30s, it's better for you to use desu and masu to me. Okay, if you are middle-aged or more, still I think it's better that you use desu and masu to me. Otherwise, I feel like I'm disrespected, especially if you are man. If you talk to me in tameguchi, I feel like, oh, we're not that close. I mean, we're not in relationship. If you are my boss, then it's okay that you use tameguchi to me. But if you're just friend, then if you use tameguchi to me, that's too intimate. I think it's better that you use desu and masu to me, okay? But if you are a woman, I think it's a little bit different. Okay, so if you are a woman and if you're younger, you use desu and masu. And if you're a woman and you are older than me, I think it's okay that you use tameguchi to me. I feel like I'm your friend, so maybe I will feel better, like we can be friends. But another thing, like if you talk to me in tameguchi from the start, I think that's again too much. So I recommend that anytime that you meet someone for the first time or second time or third time, until you get really close to them, I recommend you use desu and masu form. It doesn't matter how old you are, but when you are like older, when you are middle-aged or older than that, I think it's better to use desu or masu form always, and then you will be like respectable person. And if you're very young, I think it's better to use tameguchi to your same age group friends, and you can be more good friends to them. So age matters in Japan. I said basic rules, but actually it depends on the person. If you have a very friendly personality and you're like someone who can be friends with anybody, then I think you can use tameguchi all the time. Oh, And also, if you become friends with Japanese people at izakaya and you are all drunk, then of course it's okay to talk in tameguchi from the start. So it depends on the situation and it depends on your personality, and at the same time it depends on the other person's personality. So I think if you look at a Japanese drama or anime or eiga, whatever, carefully, and especially with the ending of the sentences, then you gradually know when you can use tameguchi or when you shouldn't. Alright, so that's about it for today. In the next video, next video, I will tell you how to make those casual sentences from this omas form. Okay, so thank you for watching today and see you soon in the next video. Bye! またね